Hi, I'm Sharon. I am a speech and language therapist. I work at Counties Manukau, DHB. I'm a speech language therapist working in the community with adults, specifically in adult health. I assess and treat people with swallowing and communication disorders. So if you've got a problem with eating, swallowing, or talking, I'm your person to talk to. My passion is helping people. I think that's what drives me to be in this kind of career, because knowing that I can work with people to improve them, especially in their health, I can leave feeling really good about myself and knowing that somebody's benefited from my support or my input. So yeah, that's what makes me passionate about my job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When I was in high school, I had this Psalm 1 teacher, and she was a music and English teacher, and she said to us, the problem with Pacific Island kids is, they just don't focus. They're all about having a good time. And that always stuck with me, and I didn't want to be one of those kids that was always out for a good time. Sure, I wanted to have a good time, but, in my studies, I wanted to make sure that I was enjoying myself. I think when I was at university, it's really tough because you can be the only Pacific person in your class, and you don't have that person that you're familiar to. And so I actually made friends with a lot of Balangis and Asians, and they have a great work ethic, and I think we can really learn from them. If we get into a study group with them, they're the kind of people that ask questions or strive to be the best at everything, and I think we can really learn from that. I think the thing that they can learn from us is that they can take it easy, that they can have a good time, that yes, that work is good, but play can be just as good as well, that you can have both. Some of my closest friends from university, just because I was the only someone around, were Palangi and Indian and Chinese, and so it's just because I didn't have any other people to go to at that time when I was studying. So, and I think from them, I really learnt, to set appointments and to kind of be on time, because I wasn't very good with deadlines. So when you have somebody to work on with the deadline with, and somebody who's actually good at that, then that really encourages you to work towards it as well. And it's really great support. So I think making friends with different cultures is going to aid in your ability to be better in your studies. So. And the great thing is that, they learn from you and they tell other people that they can learn from you. One of the things that one of my Asian friends said to me, Samoans always look like they're having a good time. When they're laughing, they always look like they're having a good time. And he said, I think we don't laugh enough like that. And he really liked that we laughed a lot. So we don't realize the joy that we share with others. And that even though when studies are serious, that we can kind of balance each other out in terms of the work and play. Yeah. Some of the other challenges about, coming into the profession is lifestyle balance. You leave high school, which is such a structured environment, and then you go into your tertiary level education, and a lot of that time it's left up to you to make those decisions and to create structure, and also learning about what that is, familiarizing that with yourself first, and then also thinking about how that works with your family time, because we have church responsibilities, we have our family responsibilities, and so being a student sometimes can be prioritized less because of those things. And so sometimes we need to learn that we need to prioritize it in a specific way. So when you're at school you study, when you go home you have a certain amount of time that you prioritize for studying, and sometimes you have to kind of communicate that with your family, that I really need to study, I've got an assignment to do. Fortunately for me, my father was like, okay, let's buy a computer. So he knew that was really important to me. So we purchased a computer because he knew that I needed it for my study. And if your parents understand that that's important, they can prioritize around your studying as well. I think it's important to have a balance. because you come home from your studies, your university lectures, and you have these responsibilities to church and to your family, and sometimes you might have to sacrifice one to make sure that it's okay. And you always kind of have this feeling of guilt, like, I should be doing this. But I think the most important thing is to really learn how to balance that, to communicate your feelings well with your family, and also to your lecturers, I think, to your university lecturers, because they don't know that you're one of how many people. So you need to go to tell them that you have these responsibilities to your family and church, so you won't be able to hand in this assignment on this specific day. And they usually are very good at negotiating, okay, giving you an extension if you approach them early enough. So, you know, it's communicating both ways, and when you're young it's hard to do that, but I think you should really value, you know, what your studies can do for your future. And if your family understand that, you know, that you are going to earn an income and this will actually benefit your family, they can see how that in the long run can be, that sacrificing a little bit of these things isn't as large as, because you can give that time back in the future once your studies are done. So yeah. I guess one of the obstacles that I faced when I chose to be a speech language therapist was I had no idea that I'd be the only Pacific one out there, and I found people coming to me asking questions that I was the cultural and linguistic go-to person for everything that was Pacific or Samoan, and that made me struggle with a little bit about my identity. And I was like, oh, am I Samoan enough? You know, do I speak the language well enough? Well, you know, am I giving my colleagues and the people who don't know about Pacific culture and language and food, am I giving them the right information? And then when I go to the Pacific people, you know, am I giving them the right speech and language therapy information, and is it language appropriate? Is it culturally appropriate? So yeah, it was a huge learning curve for me, and the way that, you know, helped me overcome that was learning about myself and, you know, accepting the things that I wasn't good at. So my Samoan's not perfect, but it's okay. I can communicate with Samoan people quite well, and they don't judge me for it. So I feel like that's not an issue anymore. And also having people who can support me in that. So one of the things was set up in my job was to have supervision for things that were difficult for me culturally. So one of the example was in our culture, you know, we take the responsibility of looking after our family, and the doctor says this person's for rest home and private hospital care, and you're like, well, I wouldn't take them to a rest home or private hospital. You want to make sure that, you know, you take them home, that's your responsibility to care for them, to make sure that I was making a good decision that I felt comfortable culturally, but was the most clinically appropriate thing for that person or that family. So yeah, it's tricky to balance that sometimes, but I think talking to people who can help support you with that, I think that's one way to help overcome that problem. So first, be okay with yourself about who you are culturally, linguistically, and secondly, get support from those who actually can help you.